program. This is The Troy Show, and I happen to be Troy. I am back after a weekend, and I skipped a day. Typically, I like to have a podcast out for you on Mondays, so when you wake up, you have something to look forward to when you get into your work schedule. But I was unable to do that. Listen, I do have other things that I have to do in my life, okay? I am not just a podcasting machine. I can't just prepare podcasts every day. Now, if there is a monetary incentive to do that, then by all means, there is a link conveniently placed for you on thetroyshow.podbean.com. And you can donate to the show, and if you like the show, and if you give me $1 million, yes, yes, then I will have a podcast ready for you every day. In the meantime, I had to take yesterday off because I was tired. I was sleepy. Okay? So I had to stop. No, actually, I do have some things going on. I've got a video job, a production of a preschool graduation that I'm finishing up, and that will be finalized tomorrow. And then I will be complete with that. So, I have a lot of things. I've got a lot of things on my mind that I want to talk about, and I don't even know how to begin. I don't know where to start. I don't even know which of these topics need to be discussed, because I've got 3 or 4 floating around in my head, but I don't know which ones need to come out. So let me just start here. I think I have discovered what making peace is. There is a family in my neighborhood, and they cause a lot of trouble. Mainly the children. The children have no guidance. There's 3 or 4 adults living in this house. And I'm not kidding you, 10 kids maybe living in this house. It is a little insane. And then every now and then there are new people. They just show up in this house. And so I don't know where they come from. I don't know where they go, because sometimes they're here, and then they're gone for a few months. But there is a little bit of an issue with them in the neighborhood. It's not surprising for on a Saturday evening to see police officers over at the house. It's not unusual. I want to break out in song. It's not unusual to see cops over there. Thank you. I'll be here all week. But it would not be unusual to see. I don't even know what kind of law enforcement they are, but those that defects, I guess you would call them, the Department of Fecal Analogical, whatever that stands for, family and something or other. Because there is no, there does not appear to be any steady guidance from that family. And because of that, you have kids running around the neighborhood, and they're going crazy. They're nuts. They're throwing rocks at cars. They are slashing tires. And, none of that has happened to me. because I let them know a while back what my expectations were, and my expectations were, and they still are, don't come in my driveway because I don't trust you. It's not that I don't love these children. I do love them. But I don't have the money to be able to pay to buy a new tire every month. Because I did have to buy a new tire, 2 of them. And I was very disappointed with the cost of the tire. Tires are expensive. Oh my goodness. Who is running the rubber business? Because they are making a fortune. Tires are very expensive. And what do? They spin. They spin. So anyway, so I let them know kindly, not to come in my driveway. And for other reasons, I won't allow my children to play with them again, not because I don't love these kids, but because I don't trust them. They have pulled their pants down in front of my little girl, these boys. And, as a dad, as a father, I don't want her to have to see that kind of thing yet. I don't want her to see that kind of thing at all, ever. Okay? Never. So I've laid the groundwork. I've told them you can't come in my yard, don't come in my driveway. You cannot play with my kids. And what that has led to is chaos. Because they'll throw pine cones at my son, they'll cuss at my daughter, they'll bully her at the bus stop. So they do all these things. And so it's gotten to the point where I've kind of become that grumpy old man, that codger who sits on his front porch. Don't step in my yard there, little whippersnapper. And, I have officially become the old man that I could not stand when I was a teenager. Because every neighborhood has that person who you just mock. And I have officially become that person. So what that has led to is just uncomfortableness. The kids, I don't understand what the deal is with kids. Again, I even hate talking like this with kids these days. But these kids, they taunt me. They left their bicycle in my yard the other day, and I kind of knocked on the window and said, get your bike out. And the kid, jumped after me like he wanted to fight me, like he was taunting me like he wanted to fight me. Okay, he's 8 and 65 pounds. Okay, I'm slightly bigger than that, and I'm slightly older than 8. So I do believe that I probably could have taken him in a fight if I had to. But I don't fight kids. That's just me. I don't fight them. Okay, that's, it's maybe it's a flaw. It's a character flaw of me. I don't fight kids. I try not to fight at all. I haven't fought since middle school. I fought Lane Scruggs once. But I don't like to fight kids. I guess it's just me. But what this has led to is just a sense of guilt on me. Because these kids aren't getting anything from home. They're not getting the guidance. In my opinion, they're not getting the guidance they need. They're not getting that firm hand. Every time I have had to speak to the kid's father, which, by the way, the father just recently got out of jail again for something, I don't know what. But every time I have to go over there, and I've spoken to the dad at least 4 times now. And every time I have to talk to him about something that his son did, something that those kids are doing, his excuse is always the same. Oh, his medication is not right. Oh, they've given him the wrong medication. Oh, he's not taking his medication this month. On and on, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on and on and on. Always an excuse. Always. His father is not even disciplining him. And so without the discipline, his kids are going to grow up into complete chaos. It's a very sad situation. And so I thought to myself, well, I can either let this continue, because I did discover that they are going to be moving in August, way far away in Texas. So they're coming your way, Texas. So I can let this continue and do absolutely nothing about it. Or I can try to make peace with these kids. And so I spoke to my wife. I said, what do you think about this? She said, you do what you feel like you've got to do. And this is something that's been in my heart for a while. It's something I felt like I needed to do. So I grabbed the special box of treats that was on top of the refrigerator, and I went down the stairs calmly, and I walked across the street to the neighbor, and I knocked on the door, and Caesar came to the door. That's the kid. And he just looked at me like, what is this old, balding, fat codger guy doing on my front porch? What's he going to tell on me about now? But I said, hey, can you guys come out? I want to talk to you. I've got something I want to give you. And so I discovered during this what true peace looks like, what making peace looks like. I spoke to them about what my expectations were. Again, I told them that I love these guys. I told them that I do not trust them because they have not shown me that I can trust them yet. And so I laid out a plan. I told them, I want to be friends with you. I'm sorry for being mean to you, as I know you are sorry for being mean to me. I told them I want to be friends, and I want to start over. And I offered a kind of a peace treaty, a nice plastic bucket of small, fun-size packets of Reese's Pieces. And they seemed to love it. I dumped them on the ground there, and they went crazy, and, and so we made peace. I asked them if we can be friends. They said yes, and so I believed them. So I went back to my house, and my wife and I went back to watching Blacklist, which, by the way, on Netflix is an incredible series. So about a half hour later, I get a knock on the door. A very quiet knock on the door. And I look out the window. Because at this point, I just thought, I don't know, maybe they changed their mind and they're on my front porch with a shotgun, and I'm going to open the door and they're going to shoot me right in the sternum. And so that's going to ruin my evening, because I wanted to watch the rest of Blacklist, but instead I'm going to have to go to the hospital with a hole in my sternum. So that was my first thought. And then I looked out the window, and there was a little boy standing out there. Little 5-year-old boy, Angel, just looking up at the door. So I open the door. I say, hey, Angel, what's going on? How are you? And he looked up at me, and he lifted his hand, and he said, you can have this. And what it was in his hand was a small Happy Meal toy of some superhero or something. I don't know what the latest fad for McDonald's is right now, but he had one. And he said, you can have this. And so I took it, and I held it in my hand. And at that point, I did want to cry a little bit, because it was a beautiful moment. He wanted to offer me something. I offered them something. I offered them friendship. I offered them peace. I offered them the security of knowing that we were on the same team. We're in the same neighborhood. We're on the same team. And he offered me his toy. You can have this. Here, you can have this. And I can't turn that away. Whenever somebody offers me anything, my first thought is, no, you can't accept this. You can't take this. It's not right. But I've decided a while back that if somebody wants to give me something, I will take it, not because I feel like, oh, great, I got something. But you're taking something away from them if you don't receive what they're giving you. So he was giving me this gift that he wanted me to have. And I took it. And I said, thank you, Angel. And he said, you're welcome. And he turned around and he walked back down the stairs. And I closed the door. And I was speechless. My wife said, what was that? And so I tried to explain to her what happened. But my mind was blown in that moment. Because here was the birthing of peace. At a very small sense of it, who's whistling at me? Oh, my phone here. But on a very small level, this was the birthing of peace between people. And then another knock came on the door, and it was the same kid. And he had drawn me a picture. He drew me a picture of our house with our family. It was a very kind picture. But at this point, I was like, okay, fine. It's great. I want to finish watching Blacklist. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. But it was a beautiful moment, and that's how peace. That is how peace is birthed. There is so much chaos going on right now. There is so much insanity. There's just so much of injustice, so much hatred, so much anger going on. And I don't know how to stop it. I don't know. I can't. I don't think I can stop it. So I've been having a conversation with 3 of my friends whose viewpoints are a lot different than mine. And we've been talking about, what does justice mean? Because one thing that's being called for right now in society is justice. This idea of justice. No justice, no peace. If you don't give us justice, we're not going to give you peace. We're going to continue to raise hell. We're going to continue to create chaos. We're going to continue to do all these things unless you give us justice. And so I have to ask myself, well, what is justice? What does that mean? What do they want? And so that's been the discussion I've been having with 3 of my friends, is what is this idea of justice? And so the response that I've gotten back so far, which I'm going to have to reread these comments again because I need to digest them more. I need to kind of digest more of what they're saying so I can really understand what they're getting at. But so far, 2 out of the 3 people who have responded both kind of agree on this point, it seems like. That justice, in a sense, is subjective. Justice is community-based. It's not the worldwide kind of justice. No justice, no peace. This justice is subjective. It's the justice of what they need right now. No justice, no peace. I still don't think I know the answer. I still don't think I understand. I know how we can create peace. And it's that beautiful image of the protests running through that neighborhood in McKinney after the police officer threw down the girl and that whole chaotic insanity. And so a day later or a few days later, a whole mass of people, hundreds of people going down this small little neighborhood street protesting. Black Lives Matter. No justice, no peace. All of these things. And it's all over the media. They're showing that. They're showing the signs. They're showing all this. What the media does not show is the black man who stopped to have a conversation with a white man. And what the cameras do not show is that white man and that black man holding hands and praying together. That is where justice begins. That is where peace is birthed. Because if I had not stepped out of my front door, if I had not gone over to those kids and said, hey kids, I'm getting, I cannot take this anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like to go down my neighborhood and see you guys and feel like I have to ignore you. I don't like that. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Let's talk this out. It's the same thing with a marriage. If you and your spouse have an argument, the worst thing to do is to go to bed angry. The worst thing to do. So my wife and I made a vow a long time ago. A long time. We have been married forever. And it's only seemed like, 10 minutes underwater without any oxygen. I kid. We have a wonderful marriage. 14 years we've been married. And we made a vow a long time ago that we would never go to bed angry. If we could talk it out, then we would. And we always have. Even in the toughest and hardest times. When I screwed up, as I've talked about many, many times, and I'll probably talk about many, many more times. We sat and we talked about it. And we were able to get through. And we allowed peace to be birthed. And that's how it takes place. If we stay in our groups and we say our group is right, your group is wrong. If that group says in their group and they say we're right, you're wrong, you're bigots, you're racist. If all this stuff continues, there will not be peace. There will not be there will be no justice. Because whose idea of justice is it? The people protesting or the people watching the protest? The people involved in whatever event takes place, or the people outside it? Everybody has an opinion on all of these things. But whose idea of justice are we supposed to cling to? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know if I will ever get to the point where I understand. I don't. I have my opinions on the things going on in McKinney. I have my opinions on all the things going on in Baltimore. I have my opinions on all of these things, and they may all be wrong. Because, and you know what? If I don't talk to people with different points of view, then my mind will not grow at all. And so that's the point. That's what I've been trying to do. And that's the point of the Troy Show. What I want to do is I want to talk to people who have different points of views. I want to talk to people who will challenge my thinking. Not like a physical challenge, not like, hey, you're wrong, but someone whose point of view is different than mine. And it's okay to have different points of view. It's completely okay. One of the people that I'm having this conversation with is an agnostic. She used to not be, but she's an agnostic. So she's different than me. I'm not an agnostic. I'm a Christian. I believe with all my heart in God, and I believe what the Bible says about him is true. And so my heart is his. This friend of mine has gone through a lot of pain and frustrations in her life, especially the last few months. And her idea right now of justice is completely different than mine because she's gone through some pain. And justice for her means something completely different than it does anybody else right now. Because justice for her at the time meant revenge. I've got to get the person back who hurt me. But that's not justice. That's not justice. I don't know what is. I'm trying to learn what it is, but I don't know what it is. So please, help me out. You know, I'm going to confess I've been a little discouraged doing these shows because I can't seem to get any feedback. And I'm not arguing. I'm not, coming down on anybody. I'm not. If you listen to the show, I realize that, 1% of anybody will be outspoken enough to make some kind of comment. But I've been discouraged because I feel like I haven't gotten any feedback at all. And I know people are listening. There's a Google map that I have that there are listeners in the last month. I've had listeners in every single state of our country except for like 5. And most of those states have at least 2 or 3 listeners in each one. And recently I've discovered that I've got somebody listening in Belgium. If that's you, call me 707-874-TROY. Leave a message. I'd love to hear what's going on there in Belgium. So people are listening, but I would love to get your feedback on this because I want to know what is justice? What does it mean? I don't want to debate. I want to know. I want to figure out what justice is. Because if we're just going to live off what I think, well, it's going to be a very boring life, my friends. Because I have no idea. I have my opinions, but I don't know if they're right. So we are drawing to an end of the Troy Show. And I would ask that you do call in. Leave me a voicemail. 707-874-TROY. And the point of the voicemail is not just for me. I will play the voicemail live on the show. And you will be famous worldwide and in Belgium. So leave me a voicemail, 707-874-TROY. And do me a favor. Go to iTunes. Look up The Troy Show. And make a comment. Comment on the show. Talk about how hilarious I am and how witty my comments are and how brilliant my observations have been. And, make a comment on there. I don't know how it works. I just know you can do it. So please do that. And, let me know that you're out there. Let me know that you're out there. And so I will let you know that I am here. And I will let you know that you are listening to The Troy Show. And what's The Troy Show, you ask? What is The Troy Show, you ask? Well, let me tell you.
This is The Troy